Well, last time we were soldering, and now we've got the guards soldered up on the helmet portion. Guards look like that. Now those guards still have to be cleaned up, but I soldered them and mounted them just to make sure everything was going to fit well. Everything looks good there. And now I'm going to work on the braille. Now this is the bib and the braille section. The braille is what clamps the bib to the suit. And what I've done is I've taken I've taken copper tubing and bent it along the lower braille frame that was molded into the plastic that makes up the bib here. I've sectioned it into quarters, so there'll be a cut right here every quarter. And I'm using copper ferrules. Now I haven't quite finished this yet. I'm going to split this copper ferrule here. So half of it comes down with this braille, upper braille frame, and half goes with the other. And then the ones that are here, they're going to be elongated. I'm going to make them longer so that the braille frame will pull directly up off those studs. Otherwise the upper braille frame will be stuck on those studs forever. So these two holes here and here will be oval. This will be half round and half round, and I'll have 4 upper braille sections just like the original, and it'll look all bronzy when it's done. And the copper tubing in there will give it a lot of rigidity to the essentially Bondo upper brails. That's where we're at today. Well, today is the day I work on the brails. Now I knew the upper braille frame was going to be a difficult part of the whole thing, but I did come up with a good concept to make it. Let me show you how we did that. I showed you the dual copper tubes that we did last time, and this is the dual copper tubes. Look at the shape of these brails. Now each one is shaped individually, and originally this would have been a brass forging. It would have to fit the bib exactly so that it would be able to squeeze the gasket for the bib onto the suit. Now the way I formed the brails was I put 2 layers of that blue removable tape onto the bib, and the back of that tape is a little wax, so it's a mold release by itself. And then I formed the copper tubes to the bib, and I polyestered between them, and I've molded and sanded the polyester. You can see that these are just about ready to prime and paint. Maybe a little more fill on some of them, but these are the brails, the upper brails. I'm real happy with the way they turned out. All right, let's see how much progress we can make for next time. Oh, I want to show you the special nuts that this is going to take. These are the wing nuts that we're going to use. Now I don't have bronze wing nuts, and you can find bronze wing nuts on the internet. They're $27 a piece, so that was a no-no. I'm making mine out of steel, copper plated nuts and washers with a couple of ears epoxied to them. And then we'll go ahead and leaf that so it all looks like a brass wing nut. Those are the wing nuts that we're going to use. I just have to make a dozen of them for the braille frame. Okay, see you next time. We'll make more progress. These are the braille frames, now sanded and painted. And these are little, I want to call them rope cleats. I made the rope cleats by slicing up sections of some PVC pipe. I turned the PVC pipe on the outside just with a drill and a little chisel. I used the drill like a wood lathe. Then the little bottoms I molded out of epoxy putty, and I also trued them up with the drill just by using the drill as a lathe. And those things are painted now also. Next thing we'll do, oh, this is for the exhaust valve. This is the handle for the exhaust valve. It's kind of special. It has one lobe that's different than the others, and it threads into the exhaust valve. These are just about ready. I'm going to give them a final sanding, and then we'll see about leafing some of this stuff. Well, I machined a hole in the helmet for the exhaust valve. This is the exhaust valve, goes about here. Now that takes that special handle I just showed you in the last video. It also takes a pipe that goes under this light. So it goes from the exhaust valve under the light to an exhaust diffuser. Oh, let me see if I can show you the exhaust diffuser. This is the exhaust diffuser. That's going to go on the helmet right about there. That pipe will connect to it. And this is the rough pipe. I've just got a couple of coats of Bondo on it. I'll get that all sanded up and ready to go. Also, I worked today on some of the air inlets. This would be like the air inlet for the helmet that goes, actually it's going to go right on the back of the helmet right there ish. And I worked on the communication tube connector. That's this, and these are just cheap plumbing parts. Even the bent elbow is an electrical conduit, and there's some cheap plumbing parts that are on the ends. Alright, so these are kind of finishing touches for our helmet, and we're going to begin to leaf this thing up and get it all assembled. Well, these are the ready to prime air inlets. They're ready to rock over here, and I'm working on the exhaust tube. Now this is the exhaust valve right here, and it runs through, the air runs out of the helmet through this exhaust tube right here and into a diffuser, which is going to get mounted right about there. So this tube has complex geometry though, and has to fit the body of the helmet. Now the tube itself is just a glueman of floor tiles with some Bondo over it, and I've got to trim the edge really.
I like that word.
I got to trim the edge really carefully so that it fits the hull of the helmet really well. So I'll make a black mark on here everywhere it touches the helmet, and that'll show me how to trim it. Alright, so I've got a nice black mark, and I can see some places I have to trim a little more than others. I'll trim that in the back there. Now what I'm trimming it with is my Roto-Zip. I'll do a little trimming just to show you how it's done. We're eye protection. So I want to cut away my black mark. And little by little, we'll cut away the black mark, get it fit to the body. Then I'll do a little more fill on the outside and sanding, and it'll look like a beautiful cast brass tube from the exhaust valve to the diffuser. All right, talk to you next time.
All right, action.
All right, we're going to start our gold leafing. Now, this is the helmet filled and primed and sanded and primed again. So it's probably been primed 2 or 3 times and sanded, and it's ready to go. Now we're going to apply gold leaf to it, or actually copper leaf, because we want it to look copper. And the ring at the bottom is going to be brass, so it'll get a different leaf. But we're not going to concentrate on that for now. We're just going to copper leaf the dome of the helmet. This is the leaf size. Leaf size is just glue. It's spray glue. And it's special for gold leafing. And it works pretty well, and it's easy to cover a big area with it. Now you put it on there and you have to wait a couple of minutes. So I'm going to start spraying my leaf size on there now. And you don't need it thick. We're just putting the barest amount of glue on there, but we want to get it coated evenly.
You're covering bigger areas than I expected.
Oh yeah, we're going to do a lot of leafing.
Oh.
Now, different than regular ornamental gold leafing, I'm going to leaf over this probably twice. Now, normally you'll just gold leaf something with a single layer, but I want this thing to be rough and tumble in case the grandkids play with it.
You think they might?
Maybe I'll play with it.
Yeah, come on. Time for Dan.
Got to be rough and tumble. This hasn't been too stinky, so I'm not using breathing protection, but if you think it's stinky,
I'd
use
probably
breathing
wear
protection.
I find it a little stinky. Not too bad, but...
Don't do it outdoors, and don't have a fan going, because
Oh,
we're going to be leafing, and that leaf, the slightest breeze is going to send it flying.
it's true. It's really delicate stuff.
That's right.
Gold leafing is so fun. Interesting sound. It reminds me of those, what are they, ASMR videos where people listen to, maybe you could get a whole following, people listening to your spray noise.
All right, I'm glued.
Hmm.
Now, you've got to let this glue tack up for a couple of minutes. And it looks like the area that I first applied glue to is getting tacky. This is the leaf. It comes as incredibly thin sheets of copper foil in between sheets of paper. Now, I had been using some of this leaf, so the first page of it, or the first leaf, is not whole.
That's so neat. Yeah, this stuff
Yeah.
is delicate.
This will be our first one.
Wow, look at that. So neat.
Remember, you can't have any wind when you do this. You don't try and get it to lay on the surface, and the surface may pull it towards it. Static
Oh,
electricity may
yeah.
pull it. And I use a brush. I have some acid brushes here. I use a brush just to pat down the leaf. You could use your fingers, but if you got any glue on it, you're going to pick your leaf up, and then you'll have leaf all over you, and everything will be a mess.
I think
Don't
I got
worry.
it everywhere when I did it.
Don't worry too much about wrinkles at this stage. What we want to do is just cover the dome of the helmet with the leaf. Now I need another sheet.
Copper leaf, huh?
This is,
Yeah, it's very copper colored.
It's actual copper metal.
Oh,
That's why this thing will look metallic.
well, no wonder.
It's real metal.
Oh, will it patina?
Yeah, sure. If I wanted to patina it, it'll patina.
Oh.
I could acid treat this. I could treat it with vinegar and ammonia.
I see.
Salt. I could put salt on the
I've
surface.
heard of sculptors like peeing on stuff too.
I'm not going to pee on it. It might be an
I
option,
wasn't suggesting that. I don't think
but I'm not
a
going to
green
do it.
helmet would look good anyway. I think that's nice. It'll be nice and shiny. How do you keep it from, getting patina kind of?
I'm gonna wax it.
Wax it?
Yeah, waxing it will protect
So
it.
you like melt wax on it, or you just
No,
rub,
no, no. I'll rub.
wax
I'll
on it?
rub it with wax.
I don't know. I've never
Paste
waxed
wax.
stuff.
Yeah, okay. I'll rub it with paste wax.
I'm gonna wax it, Chief.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Bogart taught me that. Now I've got a fold in it. There's no picking it up off the surface. Just leave the fold on there.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
Yeah, just leave it. If you don't lay your sheet right, there's no taking it off.
Mm.
But we're gonna burnish it when we're done, so you shouldn't see the individual leaves.
Okay.
It should all turn out fine, and it should look like a copper helmet.
Yay! It's gonna be so cool. Oh, I see that you're picking some bits up to get little.
Yeah, if there's any extra bits, you can put them
Little
on the spots. See, I have to go all the way down to the bayonet.
Yeah. Oh, cool. All right. Well, we got 6 minutes on this. Do we want to?
All right, so this is how you leaf. I'll have another video and hopefully show you a result here. Remember, I'm going to leaf this twice because I want a really heavy coating of copper on it. And all the brass bits are going to get 2 coats of brass leaf. And this is how far we're at.
All right.
See you next time.
Action.
Well, you haven't heard from me for a few days because I've been leafing. I leafed all the parts of the helmet, and this is one of the side lights. Now we're up to glazing. Glazing is just putting the glass in there. This is one of the glass elements that goes in. I don't know what this is. I found it in a junk hole. I think it's to go under a plant. But it's a nice piece of glass, and it's going to be the glass for our side lights. It fits fine. Begin glazing, clean the glass until it squeaks. When it's squeaky clean, there's no oil on it. Now, of course, I can't get it to squeak, but when I was cleaning it at the sink, we got it to squeak. There's no oil or grease on it, and it's ready to go. So it fits fine. Get the part that you're going to put the window in, and any loose leaf little bits on there, try and get rid of. You can see that they kind of get all
Our
over.
whole house, it's like a.
Yeah, this
snow
is
globe.
going to be
It's cool.
brass looking flecks all over the place. And then we're ready to start the glazing procedure. So the caulk that I got, or the glazing putty, is a latex based thing. Now, I've never used it before, and I can't say that I recommend it, but it is what I got for it, so I'm going to use it. So,
Yeah, you weren't too happy. I heard some muttering.
right. Now,
earlier.
usually I glaze with silicone, which glazes really easy. You put it in there, you put the glass in, and then you wipe it with a wet finger, and the cleanup is pretty easy. This is water-based material, and it's been a little bit of a mess to do, but I'll show you how to do it anyway. So, or at least the procedure I found that works fine. I'm going to put in enough glazing putty so that I get squeeze out for the entire piece of glass. Now, this would be just like glazing a window at home. You want to have the glazing putty in there completely. You want squeeze out all around the window. This is only an ornamental, helmet, but the glazing procedure is the same as putting a piece of glass in any frame.
So many skills go into making this diving helmet that can be used for so many other things. I think that's great. It's not just.
Take the
a
pressure
one
off your
thing.
gun when you set it down, and it won't ooze out the tip. So that's
Another gun. You've used a lot of guns.
yeah, he used a lot of guns.
Guns, heat guns.
All right, we're ready for the piece of glass to go in. Now, if I did this right, I get squeeze out all around.
Squeeze out.
Squeeze out.
Ah, I see.
All right, the glass is all set. I've got squeeze out all
I'm
around.
moving the camera a lot because it gets a lot of reflections. So much shiny stuff
Yeah.
happening.
Now, even on the inside, there's squeeze out. This glazing putty is going to hold the piece of glass in place, so I want to also trim it up. Now, do this on a place where you won't wreck anything because this black stuff gets everywhere. The way I've found that works the best is take off the excess material just with your finger. This isn't hazardous stuff. It's a latex base, so it's non-toxic, very basically non-toxic. I wouldn't go eating it, but so I'm going to take off the excess material. And I want a meniscus in the corners. And we still have to clean this up because I don't like the caulk line oozing up the sides of my
Yeah.
side light here. All right, we've got the excess gone. Now take a damp paper towel,
A minute water there.
just a little damp, and clean it up.
Oh, I see. That's how you're gonna clean it up.
You can't use it more than once.
Oh,
It's fresh, it's good. A little bit of caulk on it, it's a goner, so just toss it. Next. It's gonna use a couple of paper towels. Let's get a damp one.
Perfect Q-tip would work.
I don't think so. Less surface area. I just roll it as I go. Next.
And you're not the type of person who's wasteful with
You
paper towels,
you just
so
have
I know that
to.
it must really require this.
Yeah, you just have to.
Sometimes that's the way it goes.
Anything you touch with this black thing is going to get caulk transferred to it, so be careful. It's not too bad for the inside. Let's do the outside.
Close enough for jazz.
Okay, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to take up the excess. Let me get rid of this thing before some accident happens and I get it on
The
myself.
cat jumps up on it or
Right.
something.
All right, let's get a damp paper towel. And give it the once over.
That really works well. Oh, that's nice. Oh, look at you.
All right, a glazed side light. Inside and out, it's ready to go. And then we're gonna begin to assemble our helmet after I get all my glazing done.
Woohoo! Exciting! We're rolling.
Rolling. Okay. Well, everything's leafed up, and if you take a wide shot, look at the chaos that is around me for this project. So I am just about ready for this thing to be done, and it's almost assembly time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When I'm assembling, I'm going to dry fit the parts. I'm going to hot glue them in. So this is my exhaust tube. I've done some work to the helmet since I last had it in there, so it's a pretty tight fit, but it fits okay. The exhaust tube works. I decided that I won't be able to get my glue gun to the bottom part of the exhaust tube after it's installed. So I'm going to pre-apply some glue to the bottom here, then install it, and then finish gluing it. Now I'm putting everything in with hot glue, and hot glue is mostly clear, but I managed to score some black hot glue on the internet. So
Ooh,
we're
score.
gonna use black hot glue. This is the hot glue.
Oh yeah, I can smell the hot glue when I walked in here.
It's hot. Go easy on this stuff. And once you put it on, you won't be able to rotate it. So you're gonna put it in place, and that's gonna be
I
it.
guess you should practice that a few times, huh?
Yeah, well,
I
you
would.
can't practice it on this. It's
I know. Well,
Once and-
before you put the glue, kind of practice.
once and done. All right, that's the part I probably won't be able to reach once it's in. So that's hot glued. Gonna put that aside. Now we're gonna install the exhaust valve and exhaust tube. Right down where it belongs. Okay.
Oh, that's so cool. I
Hot-
love the contrast of the gold leaf to the copper leaf. How nifty.
Hold it there for a little bit. I've recently leafed this, and it's at the point now where it's kind of delicate to the touch, so I'm just being ginger when I touch it. This is the exhaust valve.
Oh,
Everything.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, everything works.
Oh, wow. That's a nifty neato thing.
Everything works. All right, now once they're in place, I'm gonna hot glue them from the inside. So
Sounds advanced.
here we go. I don't know if you can get this shot.
We'll try.
It helps that this will be the easiest piece to install because there's nothing in the way. There's no other lights installed in the helmet.
Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that.
Okay. And we're going to go piece by piece and get this thing put together. Maybe you'll enjoy it the next time. Maybe you'll see a lot of it together.
Action!
I'm dry fitting the last piece. That'd be the front faceplate of the helmet.
Oh my god, so exciting. Look at that.
And everything fit good before, but I fiberglassed the inside of the helmet since then. So.
Oh. Oh, it's a thought. Man, look at that though. It's so pretty.
I think I actually have to trim a little bit here.
Do ya?
Yeah.
Do you
So
want me
that's
to keep
okay.
videoing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the trim.
Okay.
Let me see how this goes.
Oh,
So
boy.
we're a little tight over here. It's the inner fiberglass layer. I'm using the file backwards.
Yeah. That's one of those noises. It's almost like fingernails on the chalkboard. Look at that.
Let's see where else is tight. Right there. It's tight right there. Let's see how she fits now.
Okay. She's a she, huh? Nice to know. Now we know the gender of
Things
your
that are
helmet.
difficult.
Now we can't have a gender reveal party for your helmet.
Things that are
You-
difficult.
Spoiler
Are she's.
alert, everybody.
How about if I put it the right way?
Cancel the Facebook event. Larry Snyder's gender reveal. Not his gender reveal, but for the diving helmet. Dang, that's cool.
The tight part's right here. Not bad for paper mache and floor tiles, right? I'm pushing on it.
Wow, no kidding. You're putting some major torque on that. Can I use torque?
Still got a tight spot. See where it is though.
It's really close though.
It's right there.
This is the last major piece. Just a little adjusting. It's not that big. Wow. It all kind of came together really fast at the end. I thought you had a few more days.
Well, I've been working on the pieces.
I know you've been working on them, but
Yeah, once you get the pieces all done, it's not too bad.
some more pieces that'll be good.
Ah, I heard it.
Yeah.
I heard it go where I wanted it to go.
All right. Yay. Da, 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 da.
All right, that's the way she's supposed to go. All right, let's see.
Starship blows.
We got margin on the inside. All right, that's the last piece. Let's get it faux soldered on.
How you liking that black hot glue? Man,
It's okay.
okay.
I think I'm gonna go over the top of it with a paintbrush and some silver just to make it look a little soldery.
Oh, I see.
Here, you want to get this shot? That's
Sure. Oh yeah, look at that. It's just the coolest thing.
So now that I've done this faux one, I wonder how people would respond if I made a video making a real one. The difference would be, instead of making up the side lights out of these floor tiles for actual use, we'd make them up as patterns. And then we'd sandcast those patterns in brass. Front lights, side lights, valves, and so forth. We'd sandcast all those in brass after we made the patterns. And we'd machine a lot of parts, so there'd be a lot of metalworking involved. But that'd be another fun project. Probably, though, beyond the capability of most home shops.
Yeah, I like that you did this with things that people could do. You know, you're not at your official workshop or anything. You've done this all on our porch here and in the kitchen.
Right. This
I
is
like
just
that. Someone
rudimentary hand tools.
Yeah, you've really been limited in what you had. You didn't have your fancy tools.
All right, we got the outside. Now, I saved this one for last because this front light also opens, and I can open it and then work on the inside. Actually, some of it I can do without opening the light. You know, I might be able to do all of it without opening
Well,
the
we're
light.
6
Just
and a half
through the
minutes in. I don't know how long you want this.
All right, so there's the helmet. It's getting better and better. We've got all the major pieces assembled and stuck on. There's still the spit valve to go and the two air inlets, which are over on the side. I'm still working on the bib and the brails and even the nameplate. So there's
I'm
more.
excited about that nameplate.
There's
That's
more
gonna
to
be cool.
go, but
Getting there.
that'll be in another episode.
Wow. Action.
All right, I leafed up these wing nuts before, and now
Homemade wing nuts. I think those are cool.
now these are just about the finishing touches on the helmet. You can see when you first
He made those. He added the wings.
when you first leaf something, it's kind of flaky, and after it's done, you can burnish off all these little flakes. Get in the corners with a brush. this is how I finish up my leafed objects here and just get the last little crumbles of leaf off of it. Takes a little bit of doing, but that's the way we're going to finish things up. All right, so finish up these wing nuts, and they are about the last things to go on the helmet. Let me show you where that is. It's we'll call this the best of time than the worst of times, because this project is done, and now your project list. You have to start another project. So here's how the wing nuts go on. There's a dozen wing nuts that go around to hold on the brails. The brails are these brass pieces on the front that pinch.
Is it spelled just like Braille writing?
B-R-A-I-L.
Oh, so it's not. Oh, okay.
So these pinch the canvas diving suit. There's a rubberized canvas diving suit. They pinch the diving suit between these brails and the bib, and that would be tightened down once the diver got in. This is the helmet itself. It also gets a wing nut. Let me put a wing nut up on top. Just to show you where that would go. That's the wing nut that holds the faceplate closed. This knob over here, this would be your exhaust valve. So they'll pump air in the back, and there's an air hose that goes in the back, and a communication port back there, and the excess air gets.
The spit valve is cool.
Yeah, there's a little spit valve on the side. When the diver has to spit, there's a pipe
Yeah,
inside. He can
so
spit in the
neat.
pipe, open the valve, and the spit comes out here,
Isn't that neat?
and then close the valve so the water doesn't
I
get
never
in.
knew that's what that was. That's so
There's a couple little cleats on the front,
neat.
and similar cleats on the back, and they hold some weights that the diver would have. I'll go ahead and turn the helmet around.
Oh, okay.
This is the back of the helmet. There'd be an air inlet here and a communication inlet here. So this would be a tube that has a wire in it, and this would be a tube that has pressurized air in it.
Oh.
This is the exhaust. So there's your exhaust valve. The diver controls how much air is let out of his helmet, and it comes out here, and this is the exhaust diffuser, and the bubbles come out behind his head and up.
That's so cool.
All right, so let me show you the cam lock. The helmet cam locks onto the bib with just a 1/16 of a turn.
That is so great. I love the noise.
There's the
of
cam
this.
lock for the helmet. This would be the bib. So the diver would don the bib first in the outfit, and then the diver would put or his helpers would help him put this.
65-pound.
Yeah, the real helmet is 65 pounds. Mine is only about 15 pounds. So here's our completed assembly. There's the front light, the top light, both side lights. They all have these copper guards that we made. It's all looking pretty steampunky. I'm really happy with that. And now the tough part is we'll have to start another project.
Ah, so beautiful. Alrighty, that's it, eh?